A lot of people who have asked me,
Can we turn
what?
off the lights?
Turn off the lights.
Yeah, so we can see the screen.
Oh, sorry. I don't know where the lights are. A lot of people have asked me, what is Thermo-Fisher Scientific? What do you do? What goes on in this big place in Middletown at the intersection of 8166? And what is it that I do? Well, I've been working for the company 35 years and my mother still doesn't know what I do. But I'll try and give you an update on the company and overall of the company itself, and then specifically the division that I work for and what we do in the Middletown facility. So this is a video just to start to give you a background of Thermo-Fisher Scientific in general.
We are all connected to the world around us. Where emissions from a factory can impact our planet, and chemical contamination on one continent can threaten a family on another. An interconnected world where an organ donor match can save a patient's life halfway around the world. With Thermo-Fisher Scientific, over 50,000 people with a scientific perspective that grows beyond borders, connecting all of science to enable our customers to make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Once the air was clear and water ran clean, and disease was localized. Today, science touches every aspect of our lives, and we touch all of science. This is our business. It's our responsibility to unite the tools and instruments, the processes and the software, the distribution systems and resources for science in ways no one else can. Who else can make a breakthrough possible? From supporting research and discovery through clinical trials to global production of a new vaccine. Equip scientists to develop new drugs and provide the diagnostics to monitor them. Ensure water quality around the world. Our connections bring advanced portable instruments to the field and analytical technologies to industry, science, and healthcare. We are as innovative detecting consumer product dangers as we are identifying biomarkers of genetic disease. We help customers analyze everything from food quality to the DNA evidence that could free an innocent man. When 4,000 proteins were identified in 1 hour, we were there. When more than 3,000 genes were tested at one time, we were there. And as the full potential of the human genome is unleashed, we will be there. But technology is not enough. Beyond our innovations helping answer critical questions are the connections that help those discoveries save lives. This is personal. What we do matters. We're R&D scientists and customer specialists, manufacturing pros and chemists, biotech rock stars and salespeople, working together to connect the right products, people, and ideas to help accelerate results. What impact, shift, discover, and innovate is about our future. The questions are deep. We need answers now. But the resources are here, and the connections are powerful. Thermo-Fisher Scientific, the world leader in serving science.
We are the world's leader in serving science. Every piece of our company, every division, every group deals somehow with science by providing petri dishes and pipettes to the laboratory, to creating mass spectrometry, to electron microscopy, and DNA analysis. So it's a very, very broad company, a very diverse company. And I'll give you a little more specifics about exactly what we are, who we are, and how big we are. To my beginning slide. So here's just an overview. My position at Thermo-Fisher, I'm in the clinical diagnostics division, and I'll explain to you what that is. But I'm Vice President of Business Development, and I manage all of our, what we call OEM and contract manufacturing business. We make products for the hospital laboratory, and we sell it under our Thermo-Fisher brand, but we also sell it to the large diagnostic companies as well, and they provide it in their brand. So I work with Abbott Diagnostic Laboratories, Siemens Healthcare, Roche Diagnostics, Ortho Clinical Diagnostics, Beckman Coulter, all these very, very large diagnostic companies. I manage all that business. And today, that's about half of the revenue of our division. The other half is our direct sales. So it's busy. I travel a lot, but it's very rewarding. Like I said, I've been with the company 35 years, so it's something that I feel we're doing some good in the world. So the company today, gross revenue for the whole company is $18 million. Huge company. When you look at the Fortune 500, we're the number 181 in the 500 Fortune 500 companies. So it's a very respected, very well-run company. We spend about $80 million a year in R&D, because innovation is critical to growth and critical to answering a lot of these scientific unmet needs. Worldwide, we have about 55,000 employees, and we are global. We're in over 120 countries in the world, and then we have 5 premier brands. So if you want to buy our product direct, you would have one of these brands. The Thermo Scientific brand is more of our innovative instrumentation and reagents and assays. Applied Biosystems is part of our molecular group, and Retrogen, another part of our molecular group. Fisher Scientific, any of you who've been in a high school lab and you see the Fisher chemicals, that's us. And we provide that through Fisher Scientific and the scientific channels. And then we also have what we call Unity Lab Services. And this is where we will go into, one of our big customers is Eli Lilly. We manage their laboratories for them in their organization. So we take care of all the preventive maintenance, all the calibration, all the validation of all their equipment and maintain it, and we also maintain their stock room for inventory. So that's a service that we provide as well too. Again, all dealing with science. When you look at our business, how it's broken up, we've got 4 major business segments. We've got the analytical instrument section, that's up in your left in the corner. This is where it's the high-end innovative type of scientific equipment instruments. So our electron microscopes, the mass spectrometry, high-pressure liquid chromatography, these type of instruments that are used very much in research laboratories to try and diagnose or try and identify particular elements or compounds. They're used specifically a lot in the pharmaceutical industry for drug discoveries as well. Then we've got on the upper right-hand side our life sciences solutions. This is an acquisition we made several years ago. Thermo-Fisher is a very acquisitive company, so we're constantly doing acquisitions. This one was a company called Life Technologies, and they were one of the first ones that helped identify the human genome. And we do a huge amount of DNA and RNA testing. We do personalized medicine. So if you have oncology, if you've got a cancer, and we can detect the markers in the genes for that particular cancer and help tell you whether you're predestined or your prognosis for the outcome based off of your genetic makeup. So a lot of interesting things going on in that part of the business. Then we have the laboratory products and services, and this is more of providing generalized lab supplies. This is the micro pipettes, this is the Petri dishes, the ELISA 96 well trays that you can do immunoassays in. It's the Petri dishes again, the flask. A lot of plastic. We have a whole company. Anybody know the name Nalgene? It's a plastic company. They used to make pacifiers. They're part of our division, our company now. We acquired them several years ago too. So they make a lot of plastics for the diagnostic industry. They make a lot of our bottles that we fill our product into within our division. And then the specialty diagnostics group, that's the group that I'm in. We have 4 major business divisions within that group. We have the immunodiagnostics division. That was an acquisition of a company, Legacy Phadia. Phadia is it's the world's leader in allergy and autoimmune testing for diagnosis. So that's a great group to be with. They're headquartered in Sweden, Uppsala, Sweden. Then we have the anatomical pathology division. This is where if you need to go have a biopsy done, it will be run on one of those pieces of equipment. Also any type of hematology stains, if you need a leukemia diagnosis, that will be done on the type of products that are done in our anatomical pathology division. Then we have the transplant diagnostics group. That specifically talks about outcomes and diagnosis of people who have organ transplants. Very specific target to that business. They have done incredible work. It's just amazing. Saved many lives with their ability to diagnose and help monitor transplantations. And then the clinical diagnostics division. That's the division that I'm in. It's basically very specific, very what we call niche type of testing for diagnostics. We're not going to go out and compete with the Siemens Healthcare for total care in the clinical diagnostics arena, but we have very specific tests that we provide that really help supplement those large diagnostic companies as well. And I'll get into a little more specifics on that one. Our mission, and you heard it in the video, is to make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. So each one of our companies touches that portion of our mission statement. And one of the things we say we can do as such a diverse company that no other company in the industry can do is provide huge breadth of support for providing innovation and productivity for our customers. We can say, okay, we can make the plastic bottle in this group, we can customize it for you for this, we can make your reagents and your chemical mix and put that in there for you. We can do it because the economy of scale, we can do it at a cheaper price than they could do it themselves. So we're offering them solutions, and that's one of the things we're able to do, again, that no other company of our competitors can do at the breadth that we have. And growth. We're always looking at growth. As I said before, Thermo-Fisher is an acquisitive company. Just this year, we've acquired 2 other companies. Just this year. One is FEI, and they're one of the leading providers of high-performance electron microscopy. So we just closed that deal and are integrating them into our business as well. And then a company called Affymetrix, and they are very big in multiplexing and being able to do multi-type of tests with their particular technology. So you have one sample and you can run 20 different tests on it because they multiplexed it. So another technology group that can be applied to a lot of the other scientific arenas that we have within our company. And then my division just introduced for the first time, the first ever clinical chemistry mass spec. A mass spectrometry is a huge piece of equipment, and in the past, it took somebody with a PhD to know how to run it because it's so complicated. You have to tweak it, has all these extraction buffers and mobile phases and all this. It's really very complicated piece of equipment. We've now engineered it into just a routine clinical lab instrument that you put the sample on, push the button, walk away, and the answer comes out at the end. And it's just been introduced. We introduced it last week at the American Association of Clinical Chemistry in San Diego, and it was a big hit. So it's going to be a game changer for the clinical laboratories. So again, we have a really unmatched customer focus. We are able to really, truly make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. So then shifting gears and going down to the division I work for, I'll give you an overview of specifically what we do. So our mission is, in our division, is that we're going to be a world leader in providing high-value, innovative diagnostic solutions to the IVD segment. IVD is in vitro diagnostics. That's the company or the industry we work in. In vitro means it's outside of the body. So we have to take a sample. Blood, urine, spinal fluid, things like that. So that's the sample that we're talking about when we do that. And a partner of choice for our OEM customers. OEM is we have acronyms galore, but OEM is an original engineering manufacturer, but that's where we make our product and we sell it to somebody else under their brand. So that's, like I said, that's a significant part of our business today. We have 4 facilities. one in Fremont, California, and I go there quite often. That's just south of San Francisco. And that group is our niche diagnostics group. They produce tests for therapeutic drug monitoring. So if you're on an antibiotic, it's really important you have the right level in your bloodstream for it to be therapeutic. Lots of them are, if you have it too high, it can be toxic to your system. If it's too low, you're not getting the benefit. So we monitor with the test for that particular drug. They also do drugs of abuse testing. And the criminal justice departments in the United States is one of our largest customers because of all the drug courts and all the drug epidemic that we have in our country today. Then we have a place in Hennigsdorf, Germany. That's right outside of Berlin. I go there quite often too. That group makes really novel biomarkers for some really esoteric type diseases that are very, very hard to diagnose. And they've had a really wonderful, innovative breakthrough with a biomarker for sepsis diagnosis. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later. Then Vantaa, Finland, that's right outside of Helsinki. I'll be there next week. They make our lab automation and our small clinical chemistry analyzers. These are, the lab automation is like a big, huge track that has a conveyor belt that takes the sample from when it's drawn, like a blood draw, from when it's drawn, takes it down through, barcodes it, reads it, identifies what test had been ordered for that particular sample, then sends it off the track to all the different instruments that need to run those tests. It can store the results. If they need to repeat it, it'll automatically repeat it for you. It's a real nice productivity for particularly large volume hospital laboratories. And then we have Middletown, Virginia. Go figure. There's an urban legend around why Middletown, but I don't know, nobody knows if it's true or not. The legend is that the founder of the company at that point in time had a daughter that went to Shenandoah University, so he wanted to be close and he could write it off as his trips to visit her as a business expense. So. Don't know if that's true or not, but but Middletown really has large volume formulation. We have in that facility, think of this, 40,000 liters. We have 7 40,000 liter formulation vessels. Yeah, it's huge, huge volume there. And most of their business, 85 to 90% of their business is make what we call contract manufacturing. That's where we contract with Abbott Laboratories. We will make all of their chemistry reagents for them under their brand. And we can do it cheaper than they can. So that's why they come to us, because we have the volume scale. So that's their business there. They also have a small hemostasis, blood clotting group there as well too, and some clinical chemistry reagents as well. So we've been in the in vitro diagnostic industry for over 40 years, but nobody really knows us as a diagnostic company, mainly because we make so many products for other people. We're known, though, particularly for our immunoassays for drugs of abuse and therapeutic drug monitoring. Sepsis diagnosis. Sepsis is a systemic blood infection, and it mimics so many other types of conditions. It's really hard to diagnose. And if you don't diagnose it quickly, your organs start shutting down. And you either lose limbs or it's fatal. So it's very, very important that you diagnose it very quickly. Our biomarker that we have can diagnose it within the first day of being admitted to the ICU. And it's also now, just a couple of months ago, we got clearance from the FDA where you can monitor the effectiveness of the antibiotics that are being used too. So that was a big breakthrough for us to get that done. Then we talked about lab automation. Another big business we have out of our Germany facility is a whole panel of prenatal screening. Taking all of the prenatal aspects that could happen when a mother is pregnant and screen for those. And then from there you decide whether you need to take some further action or do amniocentesis or something like that. So we've got the whole panel there. Preeclampsia, we can diagnose for that as well too. So it's a really nice group. So we have, like I said, our direct sales force where we sell our branded product directly to the hospitals or to the reference laboratories. We use distributors, particularly in emerging markets. We have distributors in Saudi Arabia, we have some in Russia, we have some in Serbia, so we've used those where we don't have a large direct sales force. We also do our licensing. We license our intellectual property to a lot of the other large diagnostic companies as well. They pay a license fee to be able to use our test. And then we do the OEM and contract manufacturing as well. So it's a very diverse way that we get our products into the market. So when we look at biomarkers, this is our Germany group. They do what we call novel biomarkers, where they're really trying to answer unmet clinical needs. And our sepsis marker is a beautiful example. It's the gold standard for diagnosis of sepsis. We're in all the European protocols within all European hospitals. Recently got the expanded claim in the FDA for this. Previously, before we had the sepsis marker, you'd have to do a blood culture. They would draw your blood, they put it into a media, they keep it for 24 to 48 hours before they could decide if you have a systemic blood infection. Well, that's too late for many people. Your organs can start shutting down in that amount of time. So we can do it within the first day. And actually now we're within the first couple of hours you can test. And you can immediately start therapy and really, truly does save lives. We have a clinical demand generation team, which is very interesting. These are physicians and nurses that go out and teach the clinicians and the laboratorians and the physicians about the use of our biomarkers and how important it is. We don't tell them, run the Thermo-Fisher test, or run the Roche test, or run the Abbott test. We say, you need to run this test, period, to save lives, and this is why. And it's a really interesting business model, and it's been very, very successful. They hold symposiums worldwide talking about what it does. And we actually sponsor a International Sepsis Day, where we educate all of the laboratories throughout the world with webinars and everything about the importance of diagnosing sepsis very, very quickly. And then our niche group in Fremont, again, they do the drugs of abuse screening. We typically, your drugs test are urine test, but then you have all these issues with sample validity. People can dilute it, they can have somebody else provide it, and they think of a lot of different ways. Actually, Ron had, in one of his courts one time, the lady asked the bailiff if she would give the sample in her place. Why not? She thought that was a good idea. I don't know.
She declined. VCU grad, no doubt.
Well, what we've come up with now is a drug test with saliva. You have a swab, you just go in and swab the inside of the mouth, then you can detect it. Gets rid of all those issues of sample integrity and validity. So we had to scale it back because the concentration in your saliva is not nearly what it is in the urine. So we had to modify our test to do that. But that's out now, and we're hopefully getting FDA approval on that soon. We can sell it to the criminal justice right now because they're not modified or jurisdicted by the FDA. But to put it into the clinical laboratories, we have to get FDA approval on that. Then our group in Finland with the automation. This is a picture of one of our large tracks. So you can see behind the lady a little bit, you can see the conveyors, and this track just takes the sample, it has these little automatic pumps that run along and takes it to the hematology instrument to get your white blood count, and takes it to the clinical chemistry to get your cholesterol and triglycerides, then it takes it over to the immunoassay to get your thyroid panel. And so you have the whole panel done and it spits out the results. We just done and just launched a couple of months ago a big, huge cold storage unit. It's like a massive refrigerator that you can put the samples in while you're waiting for something else to go through, or if you have to archive it and bring it back later and repeat it. And it's all connected through software to know exactly what sample is in which place in which rack in the refrigerator. So it's, we've got a lot of people very interested in that. And then again, our Middletown facility, they do the IVD, Vitro Diagnostics reagents, calibrators, and controls. You have to calibrate the instrument, so you have to have a substance that has a known value. So we have to measure that value when you are formulating the product to a very specific, very narrow target. And then we do what we call value assignments. You put a value on it for every instrument that you can run it on. So it's a lot. Our laboratory, if you come to visit me in Middletown, our laboratory has every instrument that's almost out there in the diagnostic laboratory space. It's amazing. And again, large scale, those 40,000 liter tanks. We make a lot of these instruments you need to wash, you need to clean between samples. So we make huge amounts of wash solutions, not only for us, but for our large diagnostic customers as well too. And then again, we have all the proprietary instruments, so we run all the tests on their instruments to release them or make sure that they're performing accurately before we sell them out to the customers. And one of the big things we've done is partnering with the large IVD companies. So we do what we call technology transfer. We had one of our customers shut down 2 of their own manufacturing facilities and transfer all that business to Middletown. So we make all their products for them. We're in the process of doing that right now with another company. They have a place in New York. They're shutting that down and moving all the production to Middletown. Again, because we have the scale, we can provide it to them a lot cheaper. And it's a very high quality organization as well too. We are governed by the FDA, ISO is International Standards Organization. There's one specifically to medical device manufacturing, it's ISO 13485, like that. We're regulated by CAMDCAS, which is the Canadian Health Society, by the CFDA, which is the China version of the FDA. We're also done by the DEA, by SAMHSA, so we get audited all the time because we are such a heavily regulated industry. But it's super critical because you've got to be given an accurate result because you can affect people's lives that way. But these are some of the companies that we work with. Fuji-Rebio is a very large immunodiagnostic company, Siemens Healthcare, Becker Roche, Abbott, bioMérieux, Diasorams. These are my customers that I work with on a routine day-to-day basis. And it's been a good collaborative effort with them.
Kathy, I'm sorry. I just gotta ask. Yeah, I know it's spelled different, but where is Waco located?
That's Japan.
Okay.
And
I know it's not Texas, but I was wondering.
And they say Waco.
Waco.
Yes. Yeah. So just within our diagnostic division, we've got now an additional manufacturing site in Suzhou, China. We just opened that up. They're now completely approved by the China FDA, and we're producing product there as well too. China for China is a huge industry for us. Just the population itself is tremendous. And all of them are starting to age like all of us are, so their need for more diagnostic testing is really critical. And so these are large volume solutions. So we, like one of our products, we put in a 20-liter cubitator. To ship that across the ocean to China is very, very expensive and takes a long time. So that's where we're starting with our large volume formulation in our China facility immediately, and that's what they're producing today. Ultimately, we'll go to look at doing some other reagent testing and manufacturing there as well too. But Thermo-Fisher's been in China for over 35 years with many, many large facilities within the nation there. So it's, again, trying to meet our customer needs. So our mantra is we're enabling productivity with our customers through custom solutions. Again, the world's leader in serving science. So it's a great company to work for. I've been very privileged to be a part of it. So that's what we do in a nutshell.